Wisconsin versus Michael Boyle.
The state appears by Carly McNeil.
Mr. Boyle appears representing himself in person. Also present is Ms. Ladewig, a victim from the Trevor robbery, and Regina Capitelli, who is the victim witness representative.
The victim.
Pardon?
You trailed off. You said Robert Capitelli is the victim witness.
Representative, Regina Capitelli. Okay. Okay, Mr. Boyle, you've rejected the attorney's, what's all that noise?
I don't know, Your Honor. I don't know. I talked to my family about seeing if they can bring an attorney into this, and that's the last contact I've had about this.
Okay, well, I sent you,
COVID-19 thing.
I've sent you several people to take as a lawyer, including Mr. Cafferty, and you said you didn't want them. So at this point, I think we need to proceed to sentencing.
He recommended I get a mental health evaluation. I didn't feel that was in my best interest.
Well, your best interest would have been to have Mr. Cafferty be your lawyer. And if you didn't want to have a mental health recommendation or assessment, and I don't think you need one, you've just delayed this case. Pre-sentence has been ready since last August. So I think that you have waived your right to counsel at this point by continually
That's not my intention on record, Your Honor. My intention is not to waive my right to counsel.
Well, you have, though, by your actions. You don't get to just sit in our jail from last August when this sentence was created and decide that you are not going to have an attorney every single time the public defender sends you one, or the county, Kenosha County, sent Mr. Cafferty at the cost of the county rather than at the public defender's expense, and you told him you didn't want him. So it's
I can have my family bring an attorney in, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
I can have my family bring an attorney in.
Well, you haven't. You've said that for a year.
No, I didn't say I'd have my family do it for a year.
Yes,
I've been trying to keep them out of it.
You told me that you were hiring Mr. Kamek. We contacted Mr. Kamek's office. He filed with us a document indicating he had never been contacted by you or your family.
I sent a letter out of this jail to Mr. Kamek, but I did never hear back from him, in all fairness.
Well, he said he never.
I just assumed he didn't. I assumed he didn't want the case.
Well,
I mean, I'm stuck in here. I don't know what else to. My options are very limited, Your Honor.
Your option was to accept Mr. Cafferty as your attorney instead of telling him you didn't want him. He's one of the most famous criminal attorneys in the whole southeastern region of Wisconsin, and you told him you didn't want him.
I didn't know that, Your Honor. I'm stuck here in jail. I don't know who's good or who's bad. When someone tells me they think I need a mental health evaluation, that flustered me.
Well, that's too bad. I will ask the public defender's office one more time to send you someone to represent you.
Thank you.
I will not allow you to discharge that person. And if you decide that you want to proceed without that person, we will proceed to sentencing without counsel. I will have considered you to have waived your right to an attorney by your behavior. I have had it over and done with you saying that you don't have an attorney. I'm going to get in it that Mr. Johnson might be able to find somebody. I'm also contacting Walworth County and asking them to transport you or at least begin your initial appearance on your charges for 3 armed robberies in Walworth County. And maybe we'll appoint someone that can represent you also on this case.
I asked my family to look into Walworth, in all fairness. I don't know if you heard that.
The trial scheduled for 3 armed robberies?
I only heard a quarter of what you said.
To get your armed robbery scheduled?
When my family spoke to me about retaining an attorney, I suggested them it would make more sense to have somebody maybe from Walworth that I don't know, both cases that would have an understanding of. I don't know if that makes sense. It did to me at the time.
Well, what didn't make sense to me is you pointed that you didn't want him as an attorney that you could never afford to hire in a million years. which stuns me that anybody would tell him they don't want him. But that's your choice. So that's the last time though, because at this point you have rejected attorney after attorney after attorney in this court. And at your last shot at it is if public defender can find somebody to represent you. That's your attorney. And if you reject that person, I will consider you to have by your actions waived your counsel, and I will proceed without an attorney before you to sentencing. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Heidi, give me a date in 6 weeks.
June 5th at 11 o'clock. Would this be for sentencing?
Yes.
Is there anything earlier on the 5th?
9 o'clock? Or actually 9:15? 9:15.
9:15 works for me on June 5th. And we'll make sure it works for Ms. Ladwig as well.
Okay. That would be great. And I will do my best to call Mr. Johnson right now to get someone to represent him for his sentencing on that date. Okay, thank you. That concludes this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
See you tomorrow.